Welcome to first and only SaaS News Digest featured on LinkedIn, where I cover news, events, and updates that are happening in the SaaS community worldwide. In our first digest today covers some of the ways that SaaS startups can get from seed to scale. A panel of SaaS experts recently gathered for a webinar hosted by Sage Intacct. They say that the customers and investors alike want to see a streamlined SaaS operation. Panelists outline in a few growth metrics that every SaaS startup needs to understand. Essentially, an early-stage startup needs to prove three key things to move on to growth stage. And the first, they must show promising unit economics. Second, they need to build a 2 to 3 year financial model based on the previous growth rates. And finally, they need to plan to a repeatable business model that can be easily expanded to the investors, employees, and candidates. And while the experts acknowledge that the revenue is the critical metric for any startup, it's not the only one to focus on. Startup leaders also need to think in terms of getting customers to use and receive value from product as soon as possible. While existing customers see the value, it becomes easier to develop a stronger value proposition. A strong value proposition draws in new customers while keeping the current ones. One panelist, Ryan Floyd from Storm Ventures, says the quote, "Ultimately, SaaS is about customer happiness. And if you don't make your customer happy, then you're going to churn." End quote. Expert panelists also point out that the startup team itself has to be strong and able to drive metrics in the right direction. And to get from seed to sustainable growth, the team must develop the right sales incentives. And some panelists advised against rewarding salespeople based on the sales revenue. Instead, they suggest rewarding them for the usage or for making referrals. And this keeps the focus on the high-quality customers and not just on the revenue at any cost. Teams also must ultimately connect finance and sales teams together. And one panelist, Poya Ozgoy from Poya Ventures, says that the sales and finance collaboration is essential. He says, quote, "One of the most underrated things anybody in finance can do is sitting down with everybody, including sales, and teach them the basics," end quote. That's a great SaaS advice from some expert panelists. Our next digest today focuses on growth hacking. Growth hacking is the term that was coined in 2010 by Sean Ellis, a well-known entrepreneur. It is a targeted, iterative process focused on refining strategies that will deliver the most growth in the shortest period for very little money. And this involves hypothesizing, prioritizing, testing, and analyzing strategies. And it's a unique process for each and every company. Experts say to remember that your product is unique, your target audience is unique, and your place in industry is also unique. But the most growth hacking users are familiar with a funnel based on what we all know as a pirate metrics. AARRR covers acquisition and activation for 2 A's. So acquisition focuses on using cost-effective channels to get the product to the identified target audience. Activation is getting people to try the product, and the next 3 R stands for retention, revenue, and referrals. Retention focuses on engaging your users and building relationship with them. Revenue is generated as the users increase, and the good referral rates ensures that the revenue streams are sustainable. This pirate metric should become combined with a clear understanding of your customer journey, and this journey should be mapped in detail as part of the growth hacking strategy. Mapping the customer journey can highlight potential pitfalls, gaps between the channels, and build faster conversion rates. And an exceptional customer experience builds loyalty, advocacy, and translates into more referrals, as well as accelerates the growth. And our last digest today focuses on well-rounded team needed to successfully scale into the enterprise markets. Along with the solid GTMs and account strategy, Forbes has outlined how these team players can help take your SaaS to the next level. The players are known as 5 S's. The stars, the Sherpas, the strategists, the specialists, and supporters. Stars are pretty obvious. They are high-performing players who naturally become role models for the rest of the team. And getting your star players to act in line with your strategy is critical, because the rest of the team will follow. Next, we have Sherpas. These are your operational perfectionists that keep things moving no matter what. Sherpas bring consistency and strength to the team. Next, you have strategists. Those are the visionaries and long-term optimizers that help company craft larger outcomes. And we must also have specialists. Specialists carry a great subject authority and ensures dignity in tough situations and deal cycles. And then finally, a team must have supporters. The supporters are like the glue that holds the entire team together. They bring team closer and look after each other at every member. And while most people will exhibit a mix of those characteristics, very often one will be more dominant. And a great balance of those team players is needed to successfully scale into the enterprise market. I hope you enjoyed SaaS News Digest. The SaaS News Digest belongs to all of us and provides the value to the members of our community because of you. So please click on like or insightful button and share the SaaS Digest on your LinkedIn page, and let's work together in developing this community in setting new SaaS global standards. My name is Artem Gassan. I'm the general partner at SaaS Growth Ventures. My superpower, I solve growth and revenue problems for tech companies. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.